Part 3 of 4 with Dr. Matthew Pennell. Stick around, this is going to be another great one. Hi everyone, I'm Jacob Godar, and on my channel we talk about building your future through business, investing, and purpose. So before this gets rolling, I've been saying this on all of these, hit that subscribe button first for sure. Also, go to jacobgodar.com and check out the freebies section. We're talking about business and how it's affected with COVID. We're going back and forth with that in this particular video. And continuing marketing is just such a huge thing right now. So I want you to look at the freebies, look at the Facebook marketing, use some of that to your advantage, and get out there and market your business. All right, let's get into it.
That you can take on the situation. So many different things you can do, but you just, like you said, you got to look within and look and see what all is going on. You don't want to be too singularly, if that's even how you pronounce it, focused on something and miss out.
I agree. You want to do the marketing for me? It sounds like you know a pretty good idea of what the chiropractic side, immune system. I like it. It's funny. Like sometimes when we are in our own businesses, like I think it's almost difficult to point out like what I want to talk about because it's everyday type of thing. So it's cool to hear somebody on the other side like point out what is important chiropractic wise to you, you know, and why you're there. I think it's always kind of interesting to hear that other side. 'Cause I'm like, man, yeah, those are great points. And those are things that I like functionally think of on a day-to-day basis, but I don't think we give ourselves enough credit within our field of, hey, not a lot of other people know this.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, just because people can't go right into your office, you're still the professional that people are looking to. And there's a list or a book of people that you've been built off of going to you for help. So, I mean, if there's some other kind of help that your education can help with, I mean, you should still be trying to do everything you can to serve your clients.
No doubt. Well, and that's, you know, for sure, like nutrition is going to be a great route for us. We've looked at trying to do some telemedicine type of things. Like it's different because we can't physically adjust somebody over the phone or tell them how to do that, nor do we want to. But we can talk to them about, hey, what type of pain are you experiencing? Here are some exercises based on that. You know, let's add heat, let's add ice, let's do this at a certain time of the day. There are tweaks that we can add. And that's, to me, telemedicine's not going to be a 3 times a week type of deal. It's like, hey, we'll check in every couple of weeks. We'll see how you're doing, things like that. And, you know, we're doing some of that with the personal injury side, which I feel will be beneficial for some of those individuals that can't make it in. But everybody's going to find their thing that makes a difference for them. So
Exactly.
Why do you think it's so important right now to have a positive mindset and not give up on your mission with everything going on coronavirus wise?
It's just, you know, keeping that positive attitude and staying driven and staying somewhat optimistic. I mean, you got to be realistic. You got to know that bad things can happen, that there's bad things going on. People are actually affected by this. It's not, you can't positivity it into non-existence.
Right.
But I mean, that positive take, you know, someone can look at something in a positive light and then they could look at it in both lights. And I mean, the way they react to that situation are going to be totally different. I mean, it's just like anything. When I talk to you, when I smile, when I'm talking, people can hear that, you know, and it's going to affect that outlook's going to affect every single decision you make. So if life's a deck of cards and you're playing whatever hand gets handed to you, I mean, you should be as optimistic as you possibly can because you got to make the best of what you get. And none of us wanted this. None of us, we were hoping that these crazy things would happen, but I mean, it's here. And you can worry about all the things you can't control, or you can be optimistic and try to look at, hey, okay, here, I got my family, I got my business, I got my life, and I'm going to see like those right now are the important things. And what can I do to stay positive and keep pushing? Because I know letting off is just going to will just drive me insane. So
for sure,
I just need to look for the good. I've always got to look to the good.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with acknowledging that something's bad or something happened that, you know, affects us negatively, you know, acknowledging it. But where the difference lies is do you wallow in that? Do you stay in that, like, woe is me because this happened? Or is it, okay, that sucks, I don't like that, but now I'm going to make a positive move that's going to, change our upward direction, even if it's not quite as directly up. That's where I think then that positivity of staying like, all right, you know what, this does suck, but I'm going to get through this.
Yeah.
It's easier said than done, but it's.
Yeah, because my wife will say, she's like, you're a freak, like you can't just look at other people and tell them to be the way you are, because you could get jacked in the face and then you're like smiling about it. Like you're overly optimistic about everything, which that could be my downfall too. I mean, I could fly into a ball of flames over making bad decisions and being optimistic that it'll just work out. But so that's like, it's a trait that served me really well, and I'm not trying to force it on anyone else, but you can't say it better than, you get what you get, and you've got to make the best of it.
No doubt. I love it. I think that's a great way to say it. And you know what? Hey, I mean, there's nothing wrong. I would much rather be on the positive side and looking up than being on the Debbie Downer side and, always feeling like things are out to get me as an individual, right? Like I don't know. Feeling attacked like that has never been a very good mindset, in my opinion. But yeah, everybody's different, I guess.
Yep.
Let's talk briefly finances. We'll hit on that and then we'll wrap up. So, financials are a difficult thing to deal with right now. Some people aren't getting paid. Some people are on, unemployment or whatever that may be. If you are still getting paid or you're collecting some money, what do you think is the best, route to go in regards to whether saving money or putting towards something specific?
I judged what I felt like. I always just go with the pulse of business, and I'm a very by my gut feel type of person, which isn't always best because I'm overly optimistic. But with that being said, like I had a good pulse that like, okay, we're going to have some work here. Is it going to be, I think I mentioned this to you, like there's going to be a loss, whether it's realized or not. Just if we go out and do the same amount of sales as last year, that's a loss. Other people won't look at it that way and won't know that. But that's a loss for us. If we're not 40, 50, 100% up, we aren't doing what we always do. So that alone in itself is a loss. But so I looked at the pace of the business and what I still thought it was going to produce after kind of looking at things for a couple weeks. And I made my decisions on what we should hold back from, what we should change. And it really depends on, like you said, where you're at. Are you still getting paid or not getting paid? Because there are so many things right now between payment protection plan to help these small businesses. And if you're depending on when this comes out, they're opening up. It looks like they're going to open up like another 450 million so more people get it. There's some big corporations that shouldn't have got it. Shake Shack and some of these places probably shouldn't have got it. Shake Shack's already gave back 10 million and said, hey, this is for small businesses. So there's stuff to get. You got to be on top of these things to get them. And then there's also like, depending on your cash flow situation, there's not a bank. I knew when this first started happening, I've got Ally on a couple trucks. And I knew this was getting bad when I got an email that said, hey, if you want to defer your loan and leases for 120 days, just go online and you can do it. So everything will let you defer your payments right now.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you can defer. I deferred those trucks and I still make the lease. It costs nothing to defer it.
Yeah.
The one that I have a loan on, I deferred it, but I just pay it every month anyway, because we still can. But I think it's important to know what you think is going to, like, try to judge how the productivity of your business is going to be, what the situation is going to progress like, and then start preparing for it to get horrible just in case. Look into ask about, hey, if I was to need a break on my lease, what can we do? Because any of these things, any of these payments, there's going to be some things that you might have to say, hey, can't do it. You need to.
What is going to be the point if you defer the loan and still pay it? Is it just it's not getting the interest during those few months, or
interest still compiles every time? All it does is defer. Like on this loan, everybody's handling it different, but this loan, it just puts the payment to the end and the interest tax onto the loan each time. So on leases through Ally, it costs nothing. It just puts 4 more months of payments on the very end of it. So you basically drive a free vehicle for 4 months. But
gotcha. Okay.
It's different through everything. I mean, we have a group plan for our office, and I believe, Blue Cross Blue Shield they kind of told us that we may be deferring payments on the health insurance. Everything's talking about deferring payments.
Yeah.
And I don't think you should defer anything if you don't have to.
Right. Yeah. Student loans. I mean, all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
I think you should look into it up front and try to know what you can defer and how much of your situation you can move around, really depending on what your cash basis is.
I agree. And the only thing I would add to that is 100% agree with the individual basis. And, that's why it's like there's no right answer to almost any question, because it really comes down to what situation are you and your family in, and how do you make decisions based on that. Like for us, there are some debts that we're trying to pay, student loans, et cetera, business loans, whatever it may be. We're still trying to pay everything that we can. However, versus maybe paying more than the minimal amount that we were, because we were trying to get through some of these loans and whatever. Maybe now we're going to pay the minimum amount for the next couple months and put some extra that we were paying into that aside, just to make sure that we have a little breathing room, because, the stress comes on as that gets tighter. And sometimes like we just don't have a choice based on, but if you do, I think you're better off giving yourself a little bit of a cushion. And then, hey, if those couple months, now that's untouchable money, right? Unless it's needed, but then you get through those months, and if it's not touched and it wasn't needed, now you shovel that into your debt or whatever it is. I mean, we follow a lot of Dave Ramsey stuff, which has helped us improve some spending habits. Everybody's different, but I do think that stuff's important right now for sure, because there's a lot up in the air.
I do, because as of like right now, we're putting to the side as much as possible all the time. And I'm like, anything, like this is a time of like anything you can cut it. Now, marketing is like the last thing you should ever cut. So like marketing, we're going to do the same, maybe spend a little bit more. We got to make sure, like sales to you, an adjustment, something that brings cash into your business. It's like oxygen. Without oxygen, you die. So the most important thing is it hits your business for you to have the opportunity to breathe.